All right, welcome. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most incredible materials inside our own bodies. It's super strong, it's really flexible, and honestly, without it, we couldn't move. We're talking about the histology of cartilage.
You actually interact with cartilage all the time. It's why you can bend your ear and it doesn't just snap. It's that smooth lining in your knee that lets you do everything from walking to jumping. It's this amazing tissue that's basically our body's built-in cushion and shock absorber.
So what is it, really? Well, officially, it's a special type of connective tissue. All that means is that it's one of the materials that supports and connects other bits of our body. But what makes it so unique is that it hits this perfect sweet spot. It's firm, but way more flexible than bone, which lets it handle some serious mechanical stress.
To really get why cartilage is so cool, we have to start with the big picture, its main job as the body's #1 shock absorber.
Think of it as the perfect middleman. It's tougher than the muscles it supports, but way more forgiving than the bones it protects. And it's this unique combo of strength and flexibility that lets it cushion our joints and coat the ends of our bones, making sure everything glides smoothly.
In this picture of a healthy knee, it shows that job perfectly. That shiny white stuff capping the bones is the cartilage, giving us a super smooth, low-friction surface. Without that, believe me, every single step would be a painful, grinding mess.
But that's just what we see on the surface. To get what makes cartilage so special, we have to zoom in. I mean, way in. We're going down to the microscopic level to see how this stuff is actually put together.
So, what's the secret recipe here? When you put cartilage under a microscope, you basically find two main parts. You've got the cells that do all the work, and then you have the matrix they live in.
The cells are like this little construction crew. First, you get the chondroblasts. These are the young, eager builders that create the matrix around them. But once they've built so much that they get trapped, they mature and become chondrocytes. Now their job is to just maintain the cartilage they've built. And where do they live? In this stuff called the extracellular matrix. It's like a firm, gel-like scaffolding that's just packed with protein fibers.
And what's so cool about this slide is you can actually see those mature chondrocytes. See, they're not just floating around randomly. They live in these little pockets inside the matrix called lacunae. You can pretty much think of the whole matrix as a giant apartment building, and each lacuna is a cozy little studio where a chondrocyte lives.
But hold on, if these cells are trapped inside this dense material, how do they get food and stuff? That is a great question. Most cartilage is wrapped in a membrane called the perichondrium, and it acts like a nutrient delivery service, letting all the good stuff, food, oxygen, soak through the matrix to reach those trapped cells. And trust me, this detail is going to be really important later on.
Okay, so it turns out that cartilage isn't just one thing. Our body has a whole family of different cartilage types, and each one is custom designed for a very specific job.
There are three main players: hyaline cartilage, elastic cartilage, and fibrocartilage. Now, they all have the same basic setup: chondrocytes living in a matrix. But the key difference, the thing that gives each one its unique superpower, is what kind of fibers are packed into that matrix and how many there are.
So here's the breakdown. Hyaline cartilage, it's got superfine collagen fibers, which gives it that smooth, glassy look, perfect for lining our joints. Elastic cartilage, just like the name says, is chock full of elastic fibers, making it incredibly flexible. And then there's fibrocartilage. It's loaded with thick, heavy-duty rows of collagen, which makes it unbelievably tough and great at resisting compression.
And you can actually feel this right now. Go ahead, touch the tip of your nose. That firm but flexible stuff, that's hyaline cartilage. Now wiggle your ear. That super bendy structure, that's all thanks to elastic cartilage. And even though you can't feel it, you've got incredibly tough fibrocartilage acting as shock absorbers between your vertebrae. In every case, the structure perfectly matches its function.
All right, that was a lot of info. So let's do a quick knowledge check to see if you've been paying attention. Time for a little quiz.
Here we go. The question is, which type of cartilage is characterized by an abundance of visible elastic fibers, providing shape and flexibility?
And your options are A. Hyaline cartilage, B. Fibrocartilage, C. Articular cartilage, D. Elastic cartilage, or E. Costal cartilage. Think about those key words: elastic fibers and flexibility. Okay, got your answer?
And the correct answer is D, elastic cartilage. That's the one that's packed with all those elastic fibers, giving things like your ear that signature bendiness. Nice work!
Okay, for our last section, we're going to tackle a really important, kind of puzzling question. If cartilage is so tough, why is a cartilage injury, like when an athlete tears their meniscus, such a huge deal? Let's figure out why cartilage is so bad at healing itself.
And here it is. This is the big catch. Cartilage is avascular, which means it has no blood vessels. Now, on one hand, this is a brilliant design for joint surface. No blood means no friction, no bleeding when you move, but it's also its greatest weakness. No blood vessels means no highway for repair cells and nutrients to get in quickly. Everything has to slowly, and I mean slowly, diffuse through that dense matrix, so its ability to regenerate is just incredibly low. Oh, and it has no nerves either, which is why you might not even know it's damaged until it's really bad.
And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought, doesn't it? We depend on this incredible tissue for basically every move we make, but when it gets damaged, it can't really fix itself. So the big challenge for medicine today is clear. How do we solve that problem? How can we help the body repair its own shock absorbers? And honestly, that very question is what's driving the entire field of regenerative medicine. Thanks for joining me on this tour.